What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 127 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Knittel, here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello.
Hello.
Matthew, hello.
Hello.
All right, there you have it. I am seated. I am showing a lot of headspace here, and that was something that we were debating before, but people, we're just going to have to roll with it. You know, if you're joining us live on YouTube, hello, welcome. We appreciate you joining us. Interact with us as we go along here. Say hello. Say if you have any questions, comments, concerns, Christian.
Dave.
Yes.
Thanks for the heads up.
Okay. All right, so all three bros sitting and talking about soccer.
Seating.
That's what seated. I was going to say seated and talking about soccer, or
well, but you didn't. You said
soccer.
seating.
I said seating. Yeah, that's not a word. That's not a word. At least it doesn't fit there.
Fun fact: that's not a word.
Okay. All right, people. Let's get into the show. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 127 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Knittel, here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello. How are you doing this weekend?
Hello, David. It's a long weekend, so it's nice, and I'm relaxing. I have to help my friend Brendan, who's been living with us for a while, move out this weekend. So hopefully we're getting this podcast wrapped up a little bit earlier than usual. So, I mean, we're not going to force it, but if it happens, it happens. And yeah, that's going to be a whole thing this afternoon now.
Well, that sounds like fun. Always fun to move people. Matthew, hello. How is your weekend going?
Hello, David. My weekend's going very well. Yesterday, I made a day trip to Galveston with a couple friends, and that was very enjoyable. The weather was great. I got very sunburnt on my back, which was my girlfriend's job to put sunscreen on my back, and I am very convinced that she did a horrible job, but
Sabotage.
All right, so there you go. Yeah, I hope everyone is having a happy Memorial Day weekend and everyone's enjoying the long weekend. We went and saw Aladdin last night. We went and did a little date night, got a little sushi, then went to see Aladdin, the live action. It was awesome. Guys, I love the movies, as I have said numerous times in the past. They have comfy chairs. It is awesome. Going to the movies is awesome.
Was the movie good?
Yeah, the movie was fantastic as well. But the whole experience of just lounging outside of the dude next to us who answered his phone in the middle of it, and just
so if you're listening,
yeah,
you know who you are.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Christian, do you have our trivia question this week?
Yeah, Dave. Like I was explaining to you earlier, I've got two, and it's just going to be whatever one pops out of my mouth is the one that we're going with this week.
That's how it always works.
Yeah. So I am going to go with, and this one I think is going to be easy because it's been all over the internet this week, but Thierry Henry, and I'm sure you guys could have predicted that because it's been over. How many finals did he play in, and how many goals did he score? And just for an added little bonus, can you do the same for Didier Drogba, who was one of his rivals at the time in the Premier League?
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I have not seen this at all on social media.
I haven't seen it.
This will be a
at all.
Oh, wow. I've seen it all over the place, so that's really funny.
Yeah, and you're also
screaming,
which is Christian's very excitable today.
I really don't think that I am, so maybe the mic's just picking up stronger than usual.
Good.
I'll just talk like this.
No, don't talk like that. Just somewhere in the middle. Voice modulation.
Okay.
Matt, go ahead.
All right. Wow. Thanks. Hey, everyone, this is Matt's Megs. If you're new to the podcast, this is my little section we got going on here. Thanks for that great intro, Christian. That was amazing. People are so excited.
People should watch on YouTube for that little bit that we just did there.
Yeah. So this week, we're only going to talk about English soccer. So there's been a lot of rumors that have appeared this week that Pep Guardiola, Manchester City's coach, is going to become the next manager. Should I correct myself if I say coach?
No.
I know people freak out. We're a no judgment zone, Matthew. So whatever you feel comfortable doing, we're supportive of.
This is Marca, and we call them coaches here.
Yeah, but okay. So manager of Manchester City has been linked to Juventus. This was his third year at Manchester City. He's been pretty clear that he finishes out his contract at places and then will be moving on. Like, I'm not expecting him to be, the coach or manager of Manchester City for the next 10 years. So it's not like I'm saying he's, our future like Sir Alex Ferguson was or anything like that. But I think it's pretty ridiculous, all these rumors. People are saying because the Champions League ban, that could be a reason why he's going. But Christian, do you believe any of these rumors?
All right, you broke up a little bit there. I don't know, Dave, is he breaking up for you too or no?
No, I heard him nice and good.
Okay,
Yeah, so
Christian,
everyone's been breaking up for me, so it sounds like it's going to be on my end. That'll be fun the whole time. What's up?
So do you know the question?
You say, what do I make of these rumors that he's leaving?
Do you believe him? Yes.
Okay. No, I do not. I think that it's going to come down to whether City gets the suspension from the Champions League. I think that's his main goal. What he's really trying to achieve is get them European success, something that they've never had in their history. I think that they're just on course to do that, though. Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world, hands down. I don't think it's any question about it at this point. He's built an incredible team, has just an insane amount of resources to strengthen it at will. That team's going to be destined for just winning everything in their path, similar to the way Barcelona did a couple of years ago. But I don't think Pep is going to leave that project if the Champions League is still available at Man City.
Okay. Dave?
I don't think he leaves either way. I think, like Matt, you were saying, he's very principled, right? And I don't think he really gets anything out of leaving City. They're going to be suspended one season, I think is what I saw. I think he would ride out that one season. And like you said, his contract is through 2022, I believe, is what he signed an extension through.
I think he extended another year.
So I would expect him to see that out. And I would be very surprised if he actually does leave.
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. And Man City, somebody on the board, I forget who it was, came out and pretty much shut it down. He was like, why would he leave? A month ago, there was an interview where they brought up these rumors. He was like, yeah, I don't know. People keep saying I'm going to America or Juventus, and it makes absolutely no sense. But so just like journalism over there, like, I don't know. Why is it okay to just make up stories? Is it like, do you think so? What I've seen a lot on Twitter is very much Liverpool fan focused, saying that it is a done deal. I'm blaming you guys for starting this stupid rumor. But like, do you think the media actually does this to throw teams off?
I don't think that's the main reason. I think they're just trying to generate as many stories as possible to get clickbait, and just everything out there at this point is fake news.
Liverpool controls the media. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we started that rumor actually here on Bros Talking Soccer. So apologies for that, everyone. I'm with Christian. I think that they just don't care. A lot of newspapers or not newspapers. Well, I guess maybe I don't know. Do newspapers still exist, guys? Whatever. Publications.
I haven't seen one in here.
Yeah, publications over there. Just like Christian said, there's so much competition and there's somewhat low standards, and so they'll run with anything, even if there's just a shred of evidence.
All right, fair enough.
Like I heard this guy walking by me on the street and he said it, so I'm going to write a story about it.
Okay. Last thing about Pep. So I'm also like seeing like just like people talking on the internet. I think Christian kind of answered this, but at Bayern Munich and Manchester City, his goal was to win the Champions League for those clubs, and he has not won that. I guess it's been 7 years of coaching.
8.
Do you say 8?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you think, Dave, I'll start with you, that it is kind of a failure for him or no?
No. We talk about this all the time on the podcast, that the Champions League is such a crapshoot. There's so much luck involved in the competition and just chance. And so the fact that he's made a ton of semifinals in those 8 years, and I mean, it's not like he's crashing out in the group stage. I don't think he's been knocked out in the group stage in any of those competitions. I don't even know if he's been knocked out in the round of 16. So he's making at least the quarterfinals, if not the semifinals, and he's just not winning. So
I think we lost to Monaco in the round of 16. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that was
his first year, though.
Yeah, and that year was kind of an adjustment.
They came in fourth.
The point still stands that the Champions League is not obviously it's amazing to win, but the fact that if you don't win, like Barcelona's season this season is largely being looked at as a failure because they lost the Copa del Rey and they got knocked out of the Champions League, but like they still won the league, and that's something important to be said about that. And so I don't know. I don't view the Champions League as like, if he doesn't win it, then he's not successful.
Yeah. Christian, do you want to add anything, or do you just?
Yeah, I mean, just based off of what you just said, I kind of see Barcelona just because of what they built themselves into as the season was a failure. I understand winning the league is just a huge responsibility and it has to be applauded, but to lose the Copa del Rey and the Champions League the way that they did is just shocking. And they keep saying the manager is safe, but I don't know if I believe that at this point. But back to the main topic of conversation. I forget what the actual initial question was specific to Pep on this one.
So him not winning the Champions League since Barcelona, is that a failure?
No, he won 3 trophies this year, so I don't think that he's failing in any way. I think it's just unnecessary and unwarranted criticism that he's not winning the Champions League. That's the most difficult competition to win in the world, in my opinion. And what's up?
There was like just mics moving somewhere. I don't know where it was, but keep talking.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I think that Pep, he's just proven himself to be a world-class manager, able to win trophies every single season, even if he's not competing, or he is competing in the Champions League, but even if he's not going all the way in that competition. I think their team has gotten better every single year since he's been there, and he's implementing his tactics more and more. They're going to be competitive again next year. They were the favorites to win it this year. Yes, I think he just builds his teams to be domestically successful. The way they set up, it's just in one-off games, he hasn't been like able to figure that last piece out. And obviously with Barcelona, he did those 2 years, but those were 2 of the greatest teams of all time. So it's a matter of time until he wins it again.
Yeah. I do want to retract my earlier point. The FC Barcelona, the way that they went out in the Champions League, yeah, probably you do have some right to be upset. So that was a poor example on my part. So I just wanted to highlight that. Matt, back to you.
All right, thanks. Also, since we're talking about failures, so ESPN sent me a notification, I think yesterday. I just got like an ESPN notification. Was Ronaldo a failure at Juventus so far? And it was like, he went there to win the Champions League. I got this notification just on my phone. It wasn't even the ESPN FC app. This goes out to everyone. So like, not like that close to soccer fans. They're probably thinking this, even though Ronaldo kind of dragged them through the knockout stages up until they eventually went out. They went out in the semifinals, right?
Quarter.
And they tried to end in the quarters.
Well, the semifinals just happened.
Yeah, you're correct. And then it was just, and they won 2 trophies, and I just think that was ridiculous. So bad job, ESPN. All right, anything else you guys want to add on this?
No.
Yeah, just a second. I think that he did not have the greatest year, but he did kind of drag that team. I think they won 1 trophy as well after having incredible dominance. What second trophy did they win?
Didn't they win doesn't Italy have the 2 cups? No.
Not that I know.
I didn't know.
Oh, I thought they won 2
so.
trophies. Did they not?
Unless you're considering like the early season, pre-season trophy. I don't know. But yeah, they only won Serie A this year. I think their dominance has been shaken a little bit, but Ronaldo obviously scored over 20 goals, had 10 assists this year. He was very influential in their team. I just don't think he took them to the next level. I think that they're still kind of hovering where they were before. So I think people expected them to go to the next level just with him.
Okay, fair enough. We're just going to move on from that. I feel like we could talk about Ronaldo for a while. Okay, so last topic I want to address. So Premier League, or not Premier League, all the transfer windows have just opened, and there's been a lot of rumors just like clubs not selling their players for certain prices, especially in the Premier League. So Wilfried Zaha, I've been seeing somewhere between 80 and 100 million. Today I saw Richarlison, or Everton wouldn't get rid of him for unless it's like 100 million. Declan Rice is a crazy high price right now. I forget what he was. I think it was in the like 70 or something like that West Ham were asking for. Christian, I'll start with you. Do you think it's fair that the prices these are setting, and do you think it's good for the game?
No, I don't think that these are fair prices, specifically for teams outside of the Premier League. I think the Premier League just has inflated everything to an incredible level. Like you saw the business that Dortmund just did by selling Pulisic for an insane amount of money. and then just bought 2 players who are pretty much in their primes and are very, very talented already in Julian Brandt and Torgen Hazard. But why can't that happen in the Premier League? They just have too much money that they just do not know how to price their own players. I think the problem is that when they sell people, they see how other teams in the league are selling and they think, oh, well, I think our assets just as much. And then when they want to rebuy someone for that amount of money, it's not someone with the same quality that it would be in another league. The Premier League is just really messed up in their transfer market. I just can't explain it because every other league seems to kind of be consistent. It has slightly gone up, but it's almost double the price for the same amount, like same quality of player in other leagues.
Okay. Dave, what do you think?
Well, the Premier League makes about twice as much money as the other league. So it's basically supply and demand, guys. It's market forces in action. Matt's the econ major. I'm minored in it. So what's happening is basically
I took a class.
Yeah, Huddersfield made more than I think Atletico Madrid in TV money. And so it's basically just the English teams generate so much more money and they're in this bubble. So when they're trading between themselves, naturally the prices are going to be inflated because they just have more money than anybody else. And so I think that's what's driving a lot of this. I can't say that it's unfair. It's just you can't compare what's happening in the Premier League to what's happening in the Bundesliga because there's different economic factors at play.
But that's not fair for those teams. They should be able to buy a same quality player for the same amount, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Life's not fair. Yeah, life's not fair. I mean, it's business, it's soccer, it's the world. Like just because it's.
But if you're selling it to a rival, I understand because they have that money. But to someone outside England, like that's why you don't see many English players going abroad.
Well, yeah. Why would they sell them to outside of the league when they can get double the price if they sell them within the league? And it maybe they do make that decision where they don't want to sell them to a rival, or they don't want to sell them to someone in the league, but it's their decision, right?
But I would say like you would increase the price to a rival, and if they were going out because you don't want to play against them if they're a quality player, I understand why that price would be inflated. But if you're selling them abroad, it should not be the same price.
But also players aren't exactly interested in moving abroad because the wages are so much higher in England. So there's a couple things that factor why English players don't leave and don't go abroad. But we're seeing some young players, take those steps and go elsewhere. But if you can get paid $80,000, Callum Hudson-Odoi, I don't know what he's on, but he's on something like around those numbers. I know he's looking at going to Bayern Munich, but you could also understand why he might consider staying in the Premier League versus going elsewhere. And, as you get higher up to even, people in their prime, it's very difficult to match those wages unless you're going to a Barcelona or Real Madrid or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with Dave. And I'll also say, I don't think it's bad really for the game. And I think it's, really helping English soccer. I mean, now that they have 2 teams in the final, which is the first time that's happened in, I don't know how long.
2008.
Yeah. And then now it's the first time, even since Chelsea won. That's the first time in never mind. Last year. I'm an idiot.
Thanks for that, Matt.
At least there'll be an English winner for the first time in a while. So I'm completely fine with it. And for these smaller or mid-level clubs, it's their only way to stay competitive. So if you're selling these players, like Crystal Palace aren't really that great without Zaha. Richarlison at Everton was kind of their main attacking threat. And I'm not saying they're bad teams. It's just for them to compete or even try to get into the Europa League, they're going to need these types of players. And, if they don't have them, I mean, it's fine if they give them away for a ridiculous price, and then they can replace them buy them from other players from other leagues, and that's how they'll replace them. So I think it's really good for English soccer, and I don't really see the problem with it because there's so much money in England that the big teams can spend it.
So you kind of touched on what was going to be my counterpoint there, but I think English teams could sell the players and do a better job of investing in scouting and developing youth players better. And so that could be, I don't think anyone has really, I mean, Leicester kind of did it when they went on their run and won the title, but nobody has really doubled down on the academy perspective. I guess Southampton did it for a while, but it'd be interesting to see a team just have the business model where they're moving players on and then really just going after the most promising young players and really committing to the academy, because I think that there could be a competitive team to be built off of that model. I mean, you saw with Ajax this year, and obviously it's a generational thing and it was very, very fortunate, but they combined really talented academy players with people like Tadic and who's the center back, Daley Blind. And so who are, kind of getting towards the end of their prime, but they're still very experienced. And so, you can find that sweet spot to kind of get a competitive advantage. And I don't think English teams are doing that enough.
Yeah, but do you think English teams have the freedom to kind of experiment like that? Like Ajax kind of does because of the league they're in and kind of the power they have in that league, but with how competitive the Premier League is and, how much money you get for staying up and that sort of, pressure, I don't think teams can really afford to invest in these young players.
Well, I think that outside of the top 6, they definitely can because they're in that position where they're not really fighting for Europe. But there are teams like I would say Bournemouth kind of does this a little bit, and it's like Bournemouth, Southampton. They're 2 teams I can think of that do invest in their youth and bring some players through. I don't think so as much anymore, but they have historically been able to do that. I think that of the top 6, United, City, and Liverpool are starting to bring through a lot of young talent, and it's different. Actually, I would say Chelsea is doing that as well, but they're going to be forced to over the next year. They are producing talent, and I think we're going to see them start spending a little bit less and seeing the progress of these players. It's just been, I feel like 10 years since we really saw people have the patience, especially with the top level teams, in allowing them to progress instead of just going out and throwing money, which they have more money than they can even think of now.
Yeah, and I guess thinking about it a little bit more, there is so much of a drop-off when you go from the Premier League to the Championship. And so the risk of relegation is very, very real. And so I think it can lead into this model of just getting players that are good enough to keep you up, but really not push you to the next level. Yeah. And I think that's maybe, Matt, what you were saying.
Yeah, so, and like a supporting point to that, like managers don't really have the freedom to experiment in the Premier League because they can get fired within 10 games if they're not performing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add on this?
Nah, I'm good.
Nope.
All right, that's gonna wrap up. Matt's Megs. Thanks for joining me. Listen to a little bit of music, and we'll be right back.
Excellent. Hello, Stephen. Thank you for joining us here. We always appreciate you joining us live when we record. And I think we had somebody else here for a little while. But they seem to have gone. But if you come back, say hello, interact with us. All right, guys, you want to do the stadium scene plug?
Sorry. Check out our friends at Stadium Scene if you want. Am I yelling? Sorry. Oh, man. Come back here.
Oh, noises.
Check out our friends at Stadium Scene. If you're going to any stadium for any sport in the US or Canada, they have information like where to go in the city around the stadium, bars and restaurants. They have where to park around the stadium, what type of events are going on, all that good stuff. Check them out. Matt, what else do they do?
They also partner with content creators like ourselves and offer you things like blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, all that good stuff. You gotta check them out at stadiumscene.tv, not just soccer, all sports in North America. Check them out.
All right.
I noticed they were in Houston this week.
Yeah, DJ was there. He went to, I think, whatever the Astros ballpark is, and I think he walked around the time.
Oh, I was there. Yeah, I was there. I went to a game on Tuesday.
Cool.
Yeah. End of story.
Yeah, that was fascinating. That was an amazing story.
It was Dollar Dog Night. I had 6 hot dogs.
I had 4 at the Phillies game.
I did too.
I could have probably had more. Okay. Christian.
Just a moment.
Okay.
Corporate accounts payable. Nina speaking.
Just a moment. All right. Plus the EPM money is the homegrown stipulation. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm going to walk through this, and I might only do 2 topics because I think this one's going to take a while. But
Okay. Yeah, Steven, that is a good point. The EPL home rules inflate English prices. So that's a good point. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Christian's Corner. Hope I didn't scare you there with a little bit of a loud intro, but I'm just keeping you on your toes and hope you're having fun. All right, so I'm going to hop right into the Premier League rule changes. There were 7 of them, and I'm just going to go one by one and get your opinions on what this means for the league. So, Matt, I'll start with you. All right, are you excited?
Wants to start with me, guys. I'm feeling down.
Well, you could start with you in your last section. You can never ask us a question. You just talk the whole time like we know you love to do.
Is that the Premier League rules change? Dave can only talk in his section.
Yeah. Wow. You figured it out. All right. So this first one is about free kicks, and the team that's taking the free kick can no longer have players in the wall, which is an interesting rule change. So the wall will have to be stable and their players can't break it apart. I think you could be on at the ends, but you can't be in between the players and the wall. So, Matt, what do you think about that rule change?
Well, I think they have to be a meter away.
Oh, yeah, they have to be a full meter. You're right. So they can't be touching the wall at all.
Yeah, I'm for that. I mean, most of the time they're basically fouling the wall, or there's always stuff going on. It just makes the game more simple. Rules are more clear, and I'm for it.
All right, great. Dave, what do you think about this one?
I don't have anything else to add on that point. I mean, I'm Matt spot on. The one thing that I'm a little confused about is what defines a wall, because sometimes you have 4 guys and then one guy will stand like a little bit off of that. Like, can you not be near that guy? I guess that's the only just sort of gray area that
I'm assuming it means the wall that's together. So if there's 4 people and one person standing off, I don't think that they are included in that. But
like sometimes they can get they can be not exactly together, but they're really, really close. So I think that would be the only thing.
You just have to be a meter away.
Okay. All right. That's the only gray area that I need to clarify. But Matt hit it spot on. I mean, basically the people that are there are either just screening the goalkeeper or like fouling because they're pushing the wall. I think Luis Suarez does this all the time, where he's runs across and kind of hits the guy at the end, at the end of the wall. So yeah.
All right, good. I agree with you guys. I am for this completely. So second one is about the goalkeepers on a penalty. They're no longer allowed to move along the goal line or touch the goalposts before a penalty is taken, which is a very weird rule change. Dave, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think of that?
I mean, I like that it's trying to, I think, stop the delay of game and the mind games that goalkeepers play. So I like it from that perspective, but I'm with you. This is such a weird thing that they specifically say they cannot touch the goalposts. And they also, isn't a part of this that he just has to have 1 foot on the line anymore, or no? Was I not reading that correctly?
I think it said they changed it from you only have to have 1 to now you have to have both, which I didn't realize was only 1 before that.
Okay. All right. So I'm for the fact that I think this is trying to address the goalkeepers sort of delaying the game and trying to speed it up. So I'm for it.
Yeah. Well, I can think of what Hope Solo was just took 8 minutes in the last World Cup before they let them take a penalty last time. Matt, what do you think about this rule change?
I'm actually against this. I think the goalkeepers are already at a huge disadvantage from just having to deal with the penalty kick in the first place. So making it kind of easier for the attacker to kind of settle in and pick their spot, I'm not for that. So I don't love this.
All right, so I get the tying vote here, and this is fun. I get to make the full Bros Talking Soccer decision on how we feel about this. I agree with Matthew. I think the goalkeeper should have freedom to move along the line completely. I don't think it matters because they could still take the penalty whenever they want. It's not really wasting time. It's just part of the mind game to be able to move along the line, and I agree that they're at a complete disadvantage. All right. Anyone else have anything to add on this one?
No.
I mean, I do, but
please do. Please do.
Well, no, because I don't think that this was. I guess I didn't read this as trying to address the goalkeepers trying to do the Jersey Dudek move in the Champions League where they're jumping all over the place. I don't think that it was designed to sort of prevent that. I thought it was designed to try to prevent goalkeepers from taking forever to try to delay the kicker from taking
this is
it.
specifically for the antic, because like some of them like
They
hit
jump
the
into-
bar as they like just to make it shake and like to throw them off.
Okay.
You can't do any of that anymore.
So I'm fine with the official Bros Talking Soccer stance of against this then, because I thought it was trying to prevent the delay.
That's obviously we already made the decision. We don't
All right.
need you on board.
Okay.
All right, so Matt, let's start with you on the next one. We got a substitution rule change. So I'm very excited to talk about this, but I'll let you go first. The subs no longer have to go off at midfield. They have to walk off whatever sideline is nearest them. What do you think about that rule?
I like it. I mean, like from playing youth soccer, that was like kind of what you always did. Just helps speed up the game. And I'm for it, especially at the end of games where substitutions take frickin' forever. It's good to know that. And you know how like subs, when they know they're coming off, will walk purposely to the farthest part of the field, so then they have to come all the way over. Now they can't do that. They'll all be standing in the middle of the field when they have to come off now.
Yeah, that's what I said. Those would literally stand on the tap-off spot.
Yeah.
Dave, what do you think about this rule change?
I'm for it. Speed up the game.
Is that all?
That's all. Yeah, Matt. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to talk less, guys.
Wow, I appreciate that. Maybe I won't even ask you next time. That might even make it better. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with this rule. There's no reason why it took this long for them to change this. Is this going to be a FIFA this is going to be a FIFA rule?
Yeah,
I don't think it's been
the
approved,
U20.
right?
Yeah, the U20 World Cup's already doing it. I feel like the Gold Cup is potentially doing it.
Is the Women's World Cup also doing this?
I feel like it is as well.
Wait, I didn't notice that when I was watching the US game.
Yeah, they did. They went off on the farce.
Oh, really? I feel like
there was one or two that jogged across, but a couple of the other subs they went off on the nearest touchline. The other thing, well, actually, so Christian will probably get to this rule change, so I won't say it. But yeah, I think the new rules are being implemented in the summer tournaments.
Okay.
Interesting. I wonder which one you were talking about. So, Dave, I'll ask you first on this next one. Is this about the managers? Is that the one you were going to talk about? No. All right. So managers can now receive yellow and red cards. This used to be a rule. They took it away. It's coming back. Dave, what do you think about this rule?
I like it. I like it. I think it adds clarity for when the referee is talking to the bench, because right now I feel like we don't know who's getting warned, when they're getting warned, what the referee is saying, if he's just warning them, if he's kicking them out. So I think it's just going to add a level of clarity to when the referee is communicating with the benches. So I like it.
And also to go along with this, the head coach or manager will always receive the card if they can't identify who was the responsible party. So that's a little bit of clarity there. Yep. Matt, what do you think?
I'm very for this. I'm just curious, would Van Gaal have gotten a yellow card for that flop?
The dive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Or was it the fourth official that he flopped in front of?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would have been a good one. I'm so sad Jose is not in the league right now, because I feel like he would have been the most carded manager by far. But, can't get everything that you want. I'm for this completely. I think it does add the clarity that Dave was talking about. When they go over and warn them a couple of times, now it'll be you come over, you might get one warning and then a yellow card and then a red card. And it's just very, very straightforward. I wonder if the rules are going to be the same, that if you get a straight red card as a manager, it's like a 3-game ban. I'm just interested to see how they implement those types of rules. Anything else you have to add on this one?
Nope.
All right, so we got a drop ball rule change. Matt, I'll start with you on this one. There is no more drop ball. Whatever team had the ball now has an indirect free kick from that spot. What do you think of this rule?
I guess I'm for it, because at this point, the drop ball, especially at the professional level, doesn't really mean much. It's mainly just like a time waster where someone just kicks the ball back anyways. So I guess I'm for it. It depends where on the pitch it is, because it could be a problem if you're in the attacking third and someone has a head injury, so the ref has to stop it, and they just get an indirect free kick, because that's just like a free set piece. But
So the way
I guess-
that this rule is, like, this is how I read it, and I want to get your opinions on this. It says the ball will be returned to the team who last touched the ball. I assume that means it's a free kick, right? It's not just, or do you think that they literally just drop it to them and that team now has the ball and it doesn't have to be like a whoever wins this? It might be that way. I may have read
think it's
that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay,
think
so the
it's
ball
drop
will
and then it's
literally just be
live.
given to that person. Okay, which
Okay.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Then I'm fine with it.
Okay, yeah, Dave, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, drop balls are so rare that I'm not going to get into the semantics of, I mean, it was originally supposed to be for when the ball is not under possession of either team. And so that's when drop balls were supposed to be used. But nowadays we see it, I don't know, what feels like maybe once a month, if that. That's actually contested, the drop ball that's actually contested. So I'm fine if this moves to just, drop ball, then the ball is live. Because again, if you give them a free kick, I'm with Matt. I don't like that because then, teams can use it to their advantage. But if you drop it and then the ball's just in play, defenders can come on, then I'm on board with it.
Yeah, and if the ball is stopped in the penalty area, it doesn't matter what team had it, the goalkeeper will be given the ball in his hands, which is a little bit weird.
No, I like that.
Yeah, I think that this rule makes a lot of sense. I don't think the drop ball is necessary anymore. The team is always kicking the ball back to the other team anyway, even if they think that the ball should have been theirs. It just makes more sense that they would drop the ball and then play from there. Anything else to add from anyone?
Nope.
No? All right, the last rule change here. You excited? Everybody excited?
Yeah.
Is the handball rule. This is the change up. What? Why is your face like that? Did you think there was another one?
There is another one, but maybe it's not going into the Premier League. But let's do the handball rule, and then I can say which one I was thinking of.
All right. Let me just make sure that I have it right because I messed up the last one and I don't want to mess up again. So this is just anytime the ball hits your hand, right? Just want to make sure you understood that because it sounds like you read them already, Dave.
Yeah, well, it
says even if it's accidental,
but it's if it results in like a goal or if it's an attacking phase. Like I don't think they're going to stop it when it's in the middle of the park. I think it's still going to be the same sort of rules. But I think wasn't there an additional piece to the rule that they added that to add clarity, or no? Is it just anytime, anywhere?
Sorry, I'm just trying to read up on it. So you could keep talking if you would like. So it's not dead.
Okay.
Fine.
So okay.
Or we could also just cut this part out if you.
No, this is staying in. This is good stuff here. No, so I think what the rule change is that when the ball hits a defender's or a person's arm, then it's immediately stopped. And I think that's what Christian is saying the rule was. I thought that they had clarified it to be only in the opposition box. Is that going to be the case? And if it's in the middle third or when it's outside of the box, handballs won't be given. It will be sort of the way that the rule is right now. And so I could be wrong on that, Matthew.
So VAR is being implemented next year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe they just don't want VAR for every, because VAR is only probably going to be used for inside the box. So maybe like every time it touches someone's hand, it would just take too long. So maybe that's why they specified inside the box.
All right, so I'm going to read this rule because I'm still struggling to understand what it means fully. Its goals will now be ruled out in cases where the ball accidentally strikes a player's hand before crossing over the line. And if a player has accidentally handled the ball and created an advantage or subsequently scores, they will be penalized with a free kick. Did you understand that?
Yeah, so that's like trying to address the Thierry Henry thing or, where he scored with his hand. And so I think this is more trying to address attackers.
Interesting, because the way I have read that originally was if a defender, how they could save it and then it's a red card. But if a team scores, they completely it's kind of forgiven and just nothing's done about it. I thought it was, oh, no, it's a penalty. And the goal will not stand and that person will get the red card. That's kind of how I read it originally.
Yeah, that's still a yellow card because Trent Alexander-Arnold got a yellow card for that against, was it Barca?
No.
What was that?
Again, in Man City's, what's it called? The quarterfinal game, Trippier handed it off the line and nothing happened because Sterling scored right after. I think it was Sterling.
So referee's discretion.
Fun. All right, Dave, what rule did you think that?
So the touching of the ball in the box when on a goal kick. I said that really weird.
Yeah.
But when a defending team has a goal kick, the keeper can play it and a defender can touch the ball inside of the 20-yard line. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Inside the penalty box. And it's really weird to see because it's happened a couple of times in the U20 World Cup and you're expecting the referee to blow their whistle, but it's not. And so I know that was a rule change by the IFAB. I don't know if the Premier League's implementing it or not.
Maybe I just missed it because I was using screenshots that I took of the page that I was looking at. But I do remember reading about it. I can't remember if the Premier League's implementing that, but I do know that is going into effect with FIFA's rule changes.
Got it.
All right. Anything else you have to add on any of the rule changes that we discussed?
No, I am great, Christian.
No.
Thank you for asking.
You are so welcome, David. All right. So how am I doing on time over there so that I know
15
how many
minutes
topics
in.
I should go? Oh, boy. Okay. So we're going to do one more topic here, and hopefully it'll be a quick one. But, let's dive in and get as detailed as possible. So the Women's World Cup is coming up. U.S. women's national team is who we will be supporting in this next World Cup. And this team is a lot different than the teams that we've seen in the past. I think this team is very focused on we're going to outscore the opposition and we're going to play no defense. It's going to be great. They just are very weak at the back right now, which is surprising because they've been one of the more stout teams, I think, in the past few World Cup cups. Dave, fine. I'll start with you. What do you think about the way that they're playing tactically, and is it going to be sufficient enough to win a World Cup?
I think it'll be fun and entertaining to watch. I don't know if it's good enough because, history says defense wins championships, right? That's kind of the general thought process. But I'm excited to watch them try to just outscore teams. I mean, Crystal Dunn is basically a left winger. She's playing left back. And, it's not Heather O'Reilly. It's who's the right back?
Not Krieger, right?
No, Krieger's backup. Oh, damn it. I think she went to Stanford. Her name's escaping me right now. I'll look it up, but she is very offensive minded as well. And, goalkeeper is a position that's historically been dominant for the U.S. I think that the goalkeeper is good, but she's not necessarily, Hope Solo or Brianna Scurry or, those world-class, top dominant goalkeepers that generally we've had. And so, again, it's a concerning sign to see from the standpoint of, obviously, you want to have a very good defense, but I think it's going to make for some entertaining soccer. So I'm excited to follow all this. And real quick, we are going to do daily World Cup podcasts for the World Cup, and we are also going to do like a blowout World Cup preview show. So look for that on the feed, probably coming this upcoming week.
Good plug, Dave. All right,
Thanks,
Matt, what do you think about the U.S.'s tactics and the way that they're going to set up at this World Cup?
Yeah, I'm for it. I don't think it's necessarily set in stone that defense wins championships. I think you can still be pretty successful with that. I know Barcelona's defense, their last Champions League title, was not very strong, and I know it's different with international and clubs, but I think you can still be successful. Belgium's probably their best team ever right now. They've almost won the World Cup. They did very well. They got to the semis, right?
Yeah,
or did they
almost.
Okay, but it's a tournament of luck. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Wait. Are you saying Belgium's defense isn't good?
Did you watch the World Cup? They didn't care in the slightest about.
Yeah,
defense.
They played Carrasco at outside back and Mounier. Like they might have talented defenders, center backs, I would say, but yeah, I don't think
they let up like 2 or 3 goals to like Tunisia.
They won.
Yeah, because they scored 5.
Yeah, but France ultimately won the tournament because they had a very, very strong defense. And I think a lot of times in tournament play, that's what it comes back to.
Yeah, I mean they had some high scoring. Yeah, like the game against Argentina, what was it, 4-2 and things like that. Like they were still very attacking minded. And I mean the finals typically aren't high scoring, but throughout the tournament, I think it can still be high scoring affairs where that's going to help you out.
That's fair. Dave, go ahead.
Kelly O'Hara. I knew it was an O name, but that was the outside back that I couldn't remember her name. So
and I was reading on quotes that Rapinoe was talking about, and she said the way that they changed from they've always been playing a 4-4-2, I think, since I've been really paying attention, and they switched to a 4-3-3 now, and Rapinoe and Heath, who are probably our most gifted technically on the ball, are now just straight up winger forwards, and she said it's great to have pretty much no defensive responsibility is what she was told, that she just is creating goals and that's all that she's expected to do. Do you think that makes sense with the way our team is set up now, or do you expect those wingers to really come back and help defend more?
I think it puts a lot of pressure on Julie Ertz, and I know a lot of people think that her health and performance is going to be key to how this team does. And so it puts a lot of pressure on that defensive center midfielder or just center midfielders in general. I think it can absolutely work because, I mean, we see it, Mo Salah and Mane don't necessarily track back a ton. I mean, Mane gets back definitely more than Salah, but you can have wingers that just focus more on the attacking side of play if you have the center midfielders that can track back defensively. Comparing back to the World Cup for France, I mean, their wingers more or less kind of stayed up, and they had Pogba and Kante sort of running the midfield, and they were tasked with that responsibility, so it can work.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it can work. Matt, what do you think about having the wingers stay high and not work back?
Yeah, I mean, each team's different, but I think, going forward, them having more energy and not wasting it necessarily on defense is beneficial to wingers specifically because that's where they have to be creative. Outside backs are going to be working a lot for the other teams, so I think it just puts them at a big advantage.
Yeah, and I think they're just going to have a new level of confidence that even if they go 1-0 down, they're going to create chances and they're going to have opportunities to score, especially if the wingers are staying high. The front line of Rapinoe, Morgan, and Heath is probably unchallenged for the top three striking pair. Kind of the way MSN was, right? A couple of years ago.
Exactly. Yep.
Dave, did you have another comment? It looked like you did.
No. Sorry. I was rubbing my neck.
All right. So any other thoughts on the women's team before we move along?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. So to move along, we're going to go to a musical break. Thanks for stopping by Christian's Corner, and we'll be back with Dave's Domestic Dives right after this.
Good stuff.
All right. I have to go to bathroom.
Okay. Go ahead.
Bathroom.
Okay.
Bathroom.
Stop yelling.
You stop yelling.
Okay. Oh, God damn it. What? Oh, it's Dave's Domestic Dive. You know that, right? You say dives every time.
Well, you've done it multiple times, right?
Okay. I didn't know if you were doing it on purpose or if you didn't realize or what, but okay. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, while we're waiting for Matt to do his thing, Christian, any entertaining stories, anecdotes you would like to share? I'll give an update on my health while you do that. So I got this gaming chair, very, very comfy, because my neck and posture have been very poor over the last few years. I've been enjoying the treatments I'm getting because, Christian, I'm a big scar guy. I got lots of bruises and things like that from getting the cupping treatment. And so that's been entertaining and fun. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to share what's going on in my life.
I'm sorry. All I thought of there was when Chandler went to get to the tailor and he cupped him.
Yeah.
There was definite cupping.
That's how they do pants.
Yes, they do. In prison.
All right. Matthew's back.
Are taking it seriously now? Or?
Hopefully you're relieved.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good news.
Shit. I should have done my plug while Matt was away. My bad. What's up, everybody? Wanted to give a quick plug from us. Guys, we have a store link on our website. Go to brostalkingsoccer.com. Click our store link. You can get our sweatshirt, our long sleeve tee that we've had in the past. Originally, we only ran them for a couple weeks. We've decided to open that up. And so if you want some Bros Talking Soccer merch, you can get that there. We will be doing a t-shirt coming up within probably the next month or so. That's that word. Within the next month or so. And so look for that. And again, you can get all that. Support us. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it over on our website, brostalkingsoccer.com store link. Matthew.
So at the end,
you can still do the Amazon plug.
Okay. Is it through the same store?
Yep. Store link. Yep. At the bottom of the store. We only have 2 things in the store. So
okay. They'll figure it out.
I think so. And quite frankly, we're not getting a lot of traction from the Amazon store link anyways. Anyone who uses it, we would greatly appreciate it. But I keep fucking repeating myself. I keep saying greatly, and really, or very, very. I don't know why I do that. And I'm frustrated
Games
with
mix and
myself,
match.
Very greatly. Really greatly.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
very.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
I'll try
very.
to-
Really very is the
I'll
best
try to
one.
do that. Yeah, really very appreciate that. Many much more appreciated. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dave's Domestic Dive. First thing we're talking about, college soccer. What's going on in America right now? We talked about this in the past, but Sasha Sharovsky, who is the manager, head coach of, I guess we're just going to do that the whole episode, manager, head coach. All three of us have now said that. At Maryland, he has come out and said that the Big Ten is supportive of college soccer moving to a 2-semester schedule, so spreading the schedule out and going more towards the FIFA rules on the way that the game is played. Christian, what do you think about the Big Ten supporting this? These changes could possibly be approved in April of 2020.
Very exciting. I'm so happy for the Big Ten being one of the initiators on moving this, because it's unacceptable how many games that these college kids are having to play in a short period of time. It makes more sense to spread it out. I said, whoa, developing a Canadian accent over here. I think it's huge because it's going to help with the health of the players, and just having a longer season, having better training is going to help, I think, with the progress that they're going to make. I don't think that the future is in college soccer. And I'm sorry to say that, college, but I think that
in case college you're listening.
Yes, if college is listening right now, I'm sorry that I had to say that. But the youth academies are where the future of soccer lies, and I just think that this is going to be good for that, I guess, second tier of player to go through.
Matthew, what do you think about these rule changes?
Yeah, so I'm supportive of it. I think it's pretty ridiculous that you play, like, if you're making it far into your conference and into the NCAA tournament, you're playing, like 30 games in 2.5 months or something like that. I had like one friend at school who's from Ireland and was just like amazed, who played at Penn State, and was just like amazed at how everyone gets hurt on the team, and you have to play all these games week in, week out, and it was ridiculous. And it's only going to help the players. And I still think college can be somewhat successful, especially if they do this, because then you get the development over a longer period of time. You're not getting injured. So I'm for this.
Yeah, and there's naturally, a country the size of ours, there's going to be players that slip through the cracks that aren't in academies or that develop late. And so the better that you can have a college soccer program or even the professional ranks at the lower levels developing players. I mean, there are Jamie Vardys out there in America. And so, I mean, it happens all over the world. And so the fact that college soccer is moving towards a better development structure is fantastic. So I am so supportive of this, and I hope it ultimately passes. Christian,
Really got to develop our own Vardy parties over here in America.
Can never have enough Vardy parties. Matthew, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. Moving to the senior national team, DaMarcus Beasley is retiring after 20 pro seasons. I guess he's not a national team player anymore, but he has been for what feels like 18 of the 20 years. Went pro at 16 years old. I think he's 36 or 37 at this point, and has, again, played 20 pro seasons across MLS. He's been in Europe, played at some of the highest levels down in Mexico. Now he's back with the Houston Dynamo, Matt's team. Matt, what do you think about DaMarcus Beasley? What do you think his legacy is? I'm just joking. I know that's where Matthew lives. Matt, what do you think about DaMarcus Beasley's legacy?
Yeah, I think he's going to go down as one of the best American players of all time, probably because of his longevity. And, he had the starting spot for, I don't know how many of those years where he was important to our team, maybe like 10 years where he was, locked down his left back role. So I think it's incredible what he's done for American soccer, playing all over, not just staying in America, and also still coming back and playing in the MLS. It's kind of helped us all over. So thank you, DaMarcus. I know you're listening.
And playing in the same era as Donovan and Dempsey, how do you think that impacts him? Do you put him in that same category? How do you think of him from that perspective?
I think you have to put him in that category. Obviously, he didn't provide the moments like Dempsey or Donovan. in terms of what they did kind of at the World Cup, but his service and just what he's done and the longevity of it, I think you have to put him in that conversation.
Christian, what do you think about DaMarcus Beasley?
I think he's absolutely a Hall of Famer. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But compared to Donovan and Dempsey, yes, they came up with the big moments. He's just been around forever, and he's continued to deliver. And I don't think he ever hit the peak that they hit, but he's been able to space it out in a much longer amount of time. And I think it's obviously because they play different positions. But Beasley's been absolutely great for the U.S. over that period of time.
I think that he also suffered a little bit from going to PSV when soccer isn't on TV the way that it is now, where nowadays, if he's at PSV, I guarantee ESPN Plus or ESPN and just general big channel is showing his matches. And he went to a Champions League semifinal with them. And he really, I don't know if you can say he didn't reach the same levels as Dempsey and Donovan, because I mean, he did really compete at those levels.
I would say he didn't reach it in the international level the way that they did and come up with the big moments.
Exactly. And it's more the big moments, and they scored the big goals and ultimately got that. But just from an overall career perspective, I think you could argue that he had a more impressive career doing it all over the world. And
Do you think he hit the same ceiling that they did, though, in terms of quality? You think he was as good as them technically? And
I do think that, but I don't think that he was recognized for it. And that's more what I'm saying. And yeah, so I really do think that he hit those same levels, and it was just more. He also suffered from poorly timed injuries, and also he moved around in his career. You know, Dempsey was always that creative kind of attacker. Donovan was always more or less a winger / striker. You know, Beasley kind of played all over the pitch, and you know, as he aged and had injuries,
that game.
Yeah, he moved further back, and I don't know if that, you know. Nowadays, if you're watching soccer, you only think of him as a left back, but he was incredible as a left winger. And so maybe he suffers a little bit from that as well. Matt, anything else you want to add?
No.
Christian.
Thank you, DaMarcus.
Yeah, thank you, DaMarcus. Absolutely incredible career. And, you know, really trailblazer, you know, coming through at the age that he came through with Landon Donovan, and just fantastic career. We wish him all the best in retirement. Last topic we wanted to talk about here in Dave's Domestic Dive, U20 World Cup. So specifically the U.S.'s performance against the Ukraine. Christian, did you see the match?
All I think of is Jeff Becker yelling Ukraine when we play the World Cup. Every time I hear that now.
Very relatable to all of the listeners, but I actually think the exact same thing. But
sorry, could you repeat the question?
Did you watch the US U20 World Cup performance?
I was not able to watch it.
Okay, I'll go to Matt first, and then we'll circle back to you. Matt, I know you watched. What did you think of the US U20's performance? For those who don't know, they lost 2-1 on Friday.
Yeah, so the goal that they scored was one of the nicer goals I've ever seen a U.S. team score. The way they moved the ball was incredible. The result didn't go our way, but those Ukrainian 20-year-olds were just so much bigger physically. Our team looked like a bunch of 20-year-olds, whereas theirs looked like a senior, like a first-team senior level squad. So physically, that second goal and kind of the first goal that we let up, second one was kind of just like they were bigger, better in the air, and the first one, it was kind of just a mistake with a defender, but I mean, we played better than I think they did, and I'm still very excited for this team.
Yeah, and so for those who don't know, the Ukraine's first goal came from kind of a lofted nothing ball up to a somewhat short winger for the Ukraine, and the right back, Sergino Dest, for the U.S., just for some reason just got his positioning all wrong. He tried to jump from a terrible angle. He should have kept goal side and just kind of let the Ukraine guy walk through, and he finished. And the goalkeeper could probably be a little frustrated, but I'm not going to blame him too much on that one. And then their second goal came from a set piece. So just wanted to highlight those. And Sergino Dest did redeem himself. He played a huge role in the U.S.'s goal, but defensively, I was very concerned by his performance. The other thing I noticed, the first half, the U.S. moved the ball so quickly. Matt, I texted you. I mean, they were moving it quicker than the senior team. It was incredible to watch. And as the game wore on, I don't know if they tired, I don't know if they lacked ideas, but that really sort of went away. And so that was also a disappointing sign to see. And the substitutions didn't necessarily work. I also didn't think Tim Weah did great as a center forward. He was a little bit more influential when they moved him out wide, but I thought he could have been better. You have something to say in response to that?
I think I disagree with that. I think, well, I mean, obviously he wasn't as good. I mean, he did get the assist, but I think they kind of did a good job on defending him. I think every time he got the ball, he looked dangerous and kind of pushed the attack forward. Maybe he wasn't in the positions, but he was almost playing like a number 10 or kind of like a free roam position, the way he was kind of going about the pitch. And, you know, as a center forward, I just kind of expected him to be the highest one up, but he wasn't really playing like that. And I think if he was going to do that, someone else needed to be up there with him.
All right, fair enough. I thought that he moved more out wide, and Paxton Pomykal played as a false nine and sort of drifting. But fair enough. Christian, any thoughts on either anything we've said or what you're looking forward to?
I've read a little bit about the game, and it sounded like we created a lot of half chances, but didn't really have any glaring opportunities to score, and I think that's a little bit disheartening. I heard the possession was pretty good, and just like the organization of the team, except for pretty late on, like you were explaining, they looked like they tired a little bit. Yeah, I hope they just continue to grow together, and hopefully that they're able to. I don't know who they have in their next game. Who is it?
Nigeria on Monday.
Okay, Nigeria is one of the best youth levels, so that's not who you really want to play against if you're still testing things out. But hopefully that they're able to respond well and give a good showing against that team.
Yeah, it'll be critical for them advancing. And with the U20 World Cup, a handful of third-place teams in the groups advance. So as long as the U.S. gets at least a draw in that match, they should be in okay shape. A win would get them back into good shape. A loss would be very concerning. So that's where kind of things stand. Matt, anything you want to add in closing?
Who is number 10? The captain.
Paxton Pomykal.
He played incredible. I thought he was very good.
Yeah, he's
Houston?
No, he's the FC Dallas guy, and yeah, he's been hyped for a while. Took him to get going with FC Dallas, but he's having a fantastic season for them. And yeah, I thought he was one of the best players, very influential, got on the ball a lot, and he looks really good. I think it's Mendez, number 8, in the middle of the park. He again lacked athletically, and especially at the U20 level. I love watching U20 matches or just any non-senior matches are always fascinating to watch because players like make mistakes. And so it's incredible to watch, you know, the Barcelonas or the Man Cities play, but sometimes it can be kind of boring because nobody ever makes a mistake. And so you can kind of predict what's going to happen at the U20 levels and youth teams and things like that. I love watching these games because you don't always know what these players are going to do. They don't always make the right decisions. They don't always make the right touches. And so it makes for more entertaining soccer to a certain extent. So I really like watching these games, and they are very fast paced and very physical. So you should be watching if you're not already. Most of the matches are on Fox Sports. FS1, the US games are going to be on. And then I would imagine a lot are also going to be on FS2 for the other games. So if you're not watching, you should be. Christian, anything you want to add in closing?
Not about this, but the U.S. women's national team is up 1-0 on Mexico at the half right now.
All right, so let's go.
USA.
Yeah, we don't have a nickname, so
yay, lady.
Let's go Yanks, I guess. Yes, go team. All right, let's get to our listener questions now. We have a bunch, so thank you for everyone that sent in listener questions. First one comes to us from Glenn Lawrence from our Slack channel. Why does UEFA suck ass? Basically referencing Henrik Mkhitaryan's situation. So, Christian, do you want to brief people on the Mkhitaryan situation? Do you want me to?
So what's happening is there's a unrest between Armenia and what country?
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. So Mkhitaryan will not be traveling for the Europa League final because does not feel safe to travel there. That's very, very sad, and I think it's really unfortunate. I don't know what UEFA can really do about it. It's a preset location, and they're not supposed to get involved in political shenanigans, I guess. I don't know what word I was supposed to use there. That's the one that came out of my mouth. I'm sorry about that. But the political unrest, let's call it.
Politics.
Yeah,
they're not supposed
politics.
To be politics.
Yeah, not at all whatsoever. So I don't think it's UEFA's responsibility to really change anything here. It's just a really unfortunate situation.
UEFA decided where it was going to be. So UEFA,
but they decided early on, right?
Yeah, they should never have picked a place where a player was not going to be safe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, what do you think about this situation?
We talked about it in like previous podcasts and things. It's ridiculous that the ticket allocation for the final and that they aren't sticking up for like people in their federation and like, part of their organization with Mkhitaryan. They're kind of just saying they care more about the money or whatever than the safety of the players. So I think that's what the message that is being sent.
Yeah, and it's terrible, and it should never be the case where players shouldn't be safe playing in a European final, and so this is just unacceptable. The Independent had an interesting article giving the backstory on this whole situation, and it was really terrible what happened in Azerbaijan to the Armenian population. So I read up on it, and it's understandable why he wouldn't feel safe, and so it's it's just a shitty situation. And they never should have picked that location.
I don't know if so a similar situation, I guess, is happening in the NBA with Enes Kanter, but the NBA and kind of the FBI, I think, are doing a good job of at least like saying they're protecting him. And they still OKC ended up playing the game in London this year, but Kanter said if he went, he was going to get assassinated by like Turkish spies. And he has like, the NBA is pretty open about defending him and being accepting of him not showing up and doing everything they can to kind of keep him here. So I think that's good.
Yeah, fair enough. Stephen Brand's chiming in on YouTube with kind of a contrarian viewpoint. And how would they know for sure Arsenal is going to the final? You got to look at it both ways. Then we should never go to Russia, Korea, or most of South America. I mean, kind of, but there is different element here where there was literally mass genocide against the Armenian population in this city. It's not just like one-off situations, where the Enes Kanter situation is like he specifically has called out the president and him specifically. This is that an entire group of people were brutally murdered, and like it's still hasn't simmered down. I think the two countries are still at war. Yeah, there's no violence anymore, but a situation like that, it's not just as simple. Yeah, exactly. It's not just as simple as, oh, these countries don't like each other. This is something very, very serious. And so that's why I think this is a bigger deal.
Yeah, and it sounded like everyone, UEFA and Arsenal, like everyone agrees that it should be this way because they do not want to risk any type of backlash.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a shitty situation. Next question we have is coming to us from Soccer Noob on Twitter. So what did FIFA say the reason was that they decided against a 48-team World Cup in Qatar? And then follow-up question, what do you think the actual reason was, Matt? Any thoughts here?
They decided against it for...
Yeah, it officially came out that they voted against expansion.
2022, yeah.
Okay, but 2026 it is.
Yep.
Right, okay, that's what I thought. So I think, I guess I'm fine with it. I don't really have too much. I know they're going for it for 2026, and that's kind of been decided, but we're already kind of starting this cycle now. I think it might be a little late to kind of just already to change something that.
And also the country's like so tiny. Like it's ridiculous that they're even having a 32-team World Cup there. But Christian, your thoughts on this?
I'm glad they're doing that, but the real reason is because they want to delay how greedy they are, and they don't want everyone to know yet.
Okay, that's not true. Everybody already knows how greedy they are. So
no, but it's going to be extra greedy.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that's the case, but okay. Next set of questions come to us from @Balin Bonetta on Twitter. So these are kind of long, so stick with me here. In order to be considered a best coach of all time, do you think it's more important to win a lot of trophies with a single club, so someone like Alex Ferguson, or to win league titles and break records with clubs from big leagues similar to Pep Guardiola? So basically, he's comparing homebody coach or a journeyman coach. Not saying compare Pep Guardiola to Sir Alex Ferguson. Say if they were the exact same person and they did the accomplishments that they had, who do you value, higher? Do you value someone who stays and builds something, or do you find someone who goes to other clubs? Christian.
Ooh, I get to go first. Okay. That's very tough. It's really hard to compare those two. But personally, for me, I respect somebody who stays and takes one team, just completely goes through generations and is still able to churn out results. So Sir Alex Ferguson did wonders. I still think Pep Guardiola is a better coach overall and has just got more experience through other leagues. But I respect what Sir Alex did more.
All right, yeah. So for me, as Dave is on mute.
Sorry.
I think that if we're not talking about Sir Alex and Pep, so I think to be the best coach of all time, you need to prove yourself kind of everywhere. I mean, Sir Alex, or I'm not even going to say him, just like if you're at one place for a while, You can, develop the culture and just kind of, get used to how to win.
Was Arsene Wenger the one you were gonna not say?
No, I didn't want to bring up Sir Alex. I'm just saying in general.
I see.
Like if you're at one place, you can learn how to win in one league, and kind of get used to, one kind of way of thinking. And I know times like might change, but there's still a type of soccer that you'll probably get used to in that league. Whereas if you're going around through different countries, different leagues, I feel like, and you can prove you're successful there, I feel like that would be a sign of a better coach.
Yeah, so I think that there are benefits in ways that you can sort of quantify and explain greatness in either situation, but I would value winning in multiple leagues more than I would value, building something just in one league. It was, I do want to say, incredible what Sir Alex did because he cycled through a ton of assistant managers to keep things sort of fresh for his squad. And so even though he was there throughout the time, he was not hesitant to rotate out his assistant manager. And that was something really cool that he did. But I would say, going around to different leagues and winning trophies all over is a bit more impressive. So next question from @Balin Bennett, kind of along the similar lines, but switching over to the players, has the view of greatness changed? So is it more traditionalist that to be considered great, you need to stay with a single club and win a lot there, or more of a modernist view that to be considered great, you need to win in multiple leagues? So Matt, what do you think from a player's perspective?
So I don't think it's changed because most people still regard Messi, I would say most, a lot of people still regard Messi as already the best ever, and he's only been with Barcelona his entire career. And the people that don't they say that because he hasn't won a World Cup or anything at the international level. So I still think winning kind of a Champions League or winning trophies on the European level and then also at the international level is kind of the sign of greatness. So I don't think it's changed, but I think that's just kind of what it is at this point.
Christian, what do you think about that?
I think it's a difference between being a legend and being great. I think those are two very different things, and great players are able to go everywhere and just perform at every place that they've gone. I'm not saying Ronaldo obviously isn't a legend,
okay, all right.
Like
that's where you're
Messi is going, like, it's being a legend at a club versus being a legend overall. So like Messi will forever be a legend for Barcelona. He's obviously a legend of the game as well, but it just means something different when you do it all for one club. And obviously there are players all over the world who are absolutely world class, will be remembered. But of the players like who are currently playing, Ronaldo, he's one of the journeymen, probably Ibra as well, people like that who are going to be great players. I don't know if they are legends at a specific club, though. I know you could probably say that at Madrid, Ronaldo would be, but they're great players. Like, they're greats that will be remembered.
Do they need to be? Like, why do they need to be a legend at a club?
They don't need to be, but I think the fans like to have legends of their clubs. So I think it's from that perspective. Okay. They don't have to want to be a legend at a club.
Yeah, so similar to the manager thing, I'm always going to value going and winning in multiple, under Christian, stop tapping, please. Winning
tapping
multiple. Yes, you are. Winning multiple titles with under different managers in different leagues under different playing styles is more impressive. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to the individual and what they're able to do on the soccer pitch, like just from an eye test or stats perspective. And so, again, there's always going to be an element of it depends in questions like this when you're talking about greatness, which is a subjective thing. But it is always more impressive when you go and win elsewhere. Having said all of that, I mean, Messi still is the greatest player that I've seen in my lifetime, and it's incredible what he's done at Barcelona. But that's kind of my view on it. Matt, anything you want to add?
No, wait. So the question was, has it changed though, right?
Yeah.
So do you guys think it's changed? You guys kind of said.
Yeah, I know. We kind of tweaked the question. So I don't necessarily think it's changed. Well, I think Messi
has made it change a little bit by staying at one place and being considered the greatest ever.
No, but that is more of a traditionalist view, right? And so I think in the past it was, players didn't really move the way that they do until 1996 with the Bosman ruling. So it's more just like a general perception of, or not just perception, just general way that the market and that the way soccer exists nowadays, it's less likely to see one player at a specific club. So just from that perspective, it maybe is weighted a little bit heavily more towards if you do stay with a single club, it's almost more impressive because not a lot of people do that. So I guess maybe it has changed. Whereas depends on what you mean by has it changed. Like, are we talking about from 10 years ago? Or are we talking about from like 50 years ago? Christian, any thoughts?
I would say that it was more impressive in the past. Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying. If you went to multiple different teams and performed at that level, but now it's more impressive if you stay and continue a team success, even with a generational turnover.
Matt?
Well, I answered this first. So I think that, moving around and improving it in many leagues and winning on international and European levels.
Yeah, but that's not the question. The question was, has it changed, right? You're the one that
I
said
no. Yeah, I said no because you kind of need to perform. You always needed to perform on multiple levels.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, it hasn't changed. Okay. There you are. We got there eventually, listeners. So hopefully that was entertaining for you. Christian, what was our trivia question?
Trivia question is, how many finals and how many goals did Thierry Henry score? And how many finals and how many goals did Didier Drogba score in?
Matthew?
Yep, Matt, go ahead.
Sure. So I don't even freaking know how many finals Thierry Henry, maybe like 15. I don't know. How good was he? No.
Is this
Maybe 10.
just club level or is this international?
I think it's everything.
All right. So I'll say like 15 and maybe he scored like 8.
Okay. Dave?
I'll say 14 he played in and he scored an 11.
All right. Fun fact. Thierry Henry scored 0 goals in finals in his 9 appearances. Didier Drogba. Matt, would you like to take a guess?
All right. So I'll say like 9 finals and 7 goals.
All right. Dave?
I'll say 7 and then 11 goals. He was a big time player.
He scored 10 goals in 10 appearances in finals.
Yeah.
So very close, Dave. Very close.
Oh, thanks, Christian.
So Drogba is much better than Thierry Henry.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what the internet has now said. But whatever.
There you go. Good job, internet. Listeners, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you joining us. If you liked what you heard, please leave a review on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on. Christian, can you tell people about our Slack channel?
Yeah, Slack is a chat room where you could talk with us and other listeners and soccer fans. So if you want to get involved, email us at bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com or tweet at us at BTSoccerPod. And in there, we have all these different channels for the top 5 European leagues, MLS, Liga MX, international soccer, all that good stuff, a general category for, whatever you want to talk about. We'll talk about anything. So, yeah, please feel free to join us and reach out to us and we'll get you involved on Slack.
Yes, and make sure you're following us on Twitter at BTSoccerPod if you're not already. Matt, can you tell people about our website?
Our website is brostalkingsoccer.com. There you can find past episodes. You can read about us. You can also find our store link, which has merchandise now, and also a link to the Amazon store where it's no additional cost to you. You click on it, you shop. Just a couple extra steps to get your Amazon supplies, and it really helps us support the show.
Absolutely. And so we also, for those who are just listening to the podcast, we record this live on YouTube. You can go watch us, see our pretty faces, see us interacting, doing ridiculous thing while the person is talking. So overall, it's a lot of fun. And also Christian and I do weekly or oftentimes twice a week videos about the MLS. We call it Quick Kick Picks. We're going to be starting a competition associated with those videos. So if you're into the league and again, want to see some more content, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/c/bros talking soccer. Christian, thank you for being here and talking with me.
Dave, it's my honor. And if you are watching on YouTube and you want to see our pretty faces on a cornhole set, this is what we bought our dad for his birthday. It is our design on a cornhole game. There you go.
There you go. So that's some additional content for you. Matt, thank you for being here and talking with me.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. It's always an honor.
All right, listeners, thank you so much for being here, listening. We are interviewing Daniel Workman this week, and that'll be out on Wednesday. And I think we're going to do a European extravaganza on Friday. We'll review the Europa League final, and then we'll discuss and preview the Champions League final. Shout out Drew for giving us that suggestion. And then also look for our Women's World Cup coverage starting. And listeners, thank you so much for being here. We hope everybody has a wonderful week. Go enjoy Memorial Day, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya. All right, Stephen, thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to interviewing with Workman. I never speak. I've never. Oh no, I did. Yeah, I did speak with him on the phone. But yeah,
Cyclops is here
to talk with him. Yeah, you look good, Matt. All right, everybody. Stephen, we always appreciate you being here, interacting.
I was one of the X-Men.
Okay, Stephen.
Bye, Stephen.
We appreciate you being here. And yeah, have a great week. Go enjoy Memorial Day. I know you said it's sunny there, so go enjoy the sun. Guys, I hope you guys have a fantastic day as well.